You can increase your productivity by 5 or 10 times overnight by putting the 3 methods into action that I'm going to give you in my free course. So go download it right now by clicking the link just below here. A question here from Julia Hartshorn. Could you do an episode on how the brain holds on to grief and the best ways to take action to release it from the body? See, this is interesting, and I'm going to give you a very condensed answer here. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get original insights on personal development and success that really makes a difference, instead of the old rehashing of the same information that we know so well. So if you hold on to any negative emotion, first of all, first point, it's no longer negative. If you're holding on to grief after you don't need to grieve anymore, and it's just going on for years, it means that it's no longer negative. But it feels negative, Claus. Well, it has some very important benefits. You might be the person who people really like to speak to or console because you're always grieving. But they don't really, right? They're pretty tired of talking about the same thing that you're grievous about. But it's a strategy suddenly that meets your needs. So you're getting something out of grieving. You get addicted to the things that happens, right? Something awful happens in your life and you grieve. And what happens is people come rushing in, and you feel all this caring and attention from other people. And so the body, the mind sticks with that strategy and it becomes an identity for you. A strategy that is lodged in who you are. I'm the one who was let down by life, or I'm the one who lost this huge thing. I'm the one that's going to live the rest of my life without the love of my life, assuming, that was the love of my life, and there is an even bigger love coming. It creates an identity. Then you can walk around like that, and it's your job now. Right? It gets you things that you couldn't get before. So that's the first thing we need to ask ourselves. But grief has a function. Next point. You're grieving because you had this abstraction that you would have that person in your life for the rest of your life. So now you have to say goodbye to all of the decades that you have now lost. You didn't lose anything. You lost the abstraction that you were going to, but that doesn't matter. The body knows how to deal with that. Or you just lost something that was an important point in your life or part of your life, and that feels awful because now it's like you're missing a leg, right? Or part of your identity, like you can't do that job anymore, you can't be that person anymore, or you went bankrupt. So now you're not that kind of person, you're not successful anymore. And so you've lost something that felt so good. And the body and brain has a way of dealing with that, of getting you from that point of being at a state of lack to getting you on the other side of that. And it's called grief. It's called sadness. It's called having a sense of loss. And that is a force of nature within you. How do you release that from your body? Please listen. You do what you most intuitively do, but that most human beings have a feeling that we shouldn't do. You cry. Notice how you feel relieved whenever you cried, really deeply. That relief is just a mini resolving of the grief. And if you have a sense that you kind of pushed the grief away because you didn't want to be that person who was feeling sorry for herself or himself for that long, and you pushed it away and you said, okay, I need to get over this. This is not that big a problem. Okay, face reality, be forward moving, think positively about my life, right? And you didn't really move through that period of grief, which you need to do. It's not a choice. And if you don't move through that force of nature, it's not you deciding whether to cut that off. You can get addicted to that point, and then you'll start reproducing grief even though it's over, right? That's why I talked about the other thing. But if you don't get to the end of that grief and you cry enough and you physically, by crying, why do we cry? What's that a weird reaction? Well, animals don't cry, but we have a mammal brain and we have frontal lobes, and the frontal lobes are able to create abstractions to things, project stuff into the future that we can then lose. 40 years with our loved one, and then he's or she is gone, and we have to say goodbye to the 40 years. But that's an idea in our mind, so we cry to release that, to get used to that, to get to the other side of that. And if you don't cry, and you don't cry enough, you're going to carry that stuff around, try to keep it down. And if you have a sense that maybe I didn't really get to the end of that process of grieving, then watch videos, provoke crying. I sincerely mean that. You don't have to visit a body specialist. You can do that as well. Get the right kind of whatever massage to release the different tensions in the muscles. Do breathing exercises is also a very good idea. But fundamentally, the body knows to get rid of grief at a physical level, which is crying. So you provoke it. Watch movies, watch videos that make you sob, sentimental stuff that you wouldn't normally watch because it's duh, right? Expose yourself to it. Make it a habit of doing that every single day until you're just so sick and tired of it that there's no crying left. That's the way to do that. That's the way to move through grief. And this is not the only answer. Life isn't simple. We cannot watch a 5-6 minute YouTube video and then expect to know everything about a given subject. We have to commit to learning all the time in order for us to get all the nuances. Because I can say what I just said as a general thing, but you are special. Your world is special. Your select combination of whatever happened in your life, the way you reacted to it, and your upbringing, and the character traits you were born with, I cannot say anything about those. So you have to deal with this if you're struggling with grief as a complex matter. But, start crying, start provoking that crying, and then ask yourself the question, if you've been grieving for 5 years, what am I getting out of this? Is there some secondary benefits I'm getting out of this? Or do I need to rise, right? Do I need to produce another meaning to what happened? A positive experience and saying, okay, this was awful when it happens, but how does this make me a stronger person? What can I do with this that makes this meaningful, this awful thing that happened? How is my loss really a win? And until you reach the point where you mentally, emotionally see that, and you can honor the person who died or honor the situation that felt bad by turning it into something amazing, something productive, something meaningful, until you reach that point, you are in some form or another always going to grieve. You're always going to look at that picture of that person who died and go, and they don't deserve that, and neither do you. So this was a very short YouTube video about something with greater complexity but there's starting points here, and I hope you can use those. So hope to see you in the next video.